Is breathwork meant to be relaxing? In 2013, I was studying osteopathy in my third year, and the I was I was lucky enough to be underneath or working the tutor that was teaching us about integrative health mechanisms and functional health patterns and how to apply it clinically. This osteopath, taught me about, or taught us about breath work and functional breathing, really. It was more about functional breathing and what the properties of functional breathing are. And I thought this was amazing. And I parked it for a bit, but I did keep a kind of sheet for anyone that I looked out for that might be breathing dysfunctionally. And I would pass out this information sheet every single time I thought it was useful for patients. And what I've noticed since then is that method he taught us was a way to go into it in a relaxing way and to just be mindful and switch down and breathe slower. They explained that how the metabolic reactions occur better in the blood when you're breathing slower because you don't get rid of carbon dioxide too much. And carbon dioxide being a really useful gas that helps us to have chemical reactions work better in the body, ranging all the way from exploding energy to be able to help the oxygen get around to the tissues, but also loads of other chemical reactions, basically repair processes and lots of other stuff. If oxygen doesn't get to the tissues, and the tissues don't, the cells don't get the oxygen. So, but the funny thing is that we can get used to, our brain can get used to, under lots of stress, it pushes out more and more carbon dioxide as we breathe faster and faster. Over time, we get used to the level of a low rate of carbon dioxide in our blood, which means we can be operating on a more stress response scale. So when we do breath work, not only do we relax our nervous system, but we actually also put back carbon dioxide in at a rate which we can handle. And that is a relaxing process. So that is one way of doing breath work, where you just have the time to, and you can feel better afterwards because you've calmed down your nervous system and you've got CO2 back into the system a bit, and then that means oxygen gets in later. Now, if we work really hard doing exercise and we start to run out of breath because we're working harder, that's the brain going, oh, there's too much carbon dioxide, let's breathe faster to get more oxygen in. And to come back to the question, is breath work relaxing? Supposed to be relaxing? Well, there is breath work that can be done in a relaxing way, but there's also breath work that can be done in a way in which isn't actually necessarily relaxing, because we want to, if we've got a low rate of CO2 in the blood and we want to raise it to feel good, then feel better than before, which I just did some breath work like this before the live, and I feel really calm and great. But it's not necessarily a relaxing practice. So this practice is going towards starting to feel air hunger, all the way through to riding that air hunger so that we can get the CO2 back in the system for long enough before our brain kicks it back out again. So we can get used to a higher level, therefore accessing the oxygen system. So you can do this with, exercise. You can to get the CO2 up, and you can do this with breath work. Exercise you can push if you have the capacity to push, but you can also do breath work to push, because if you move, you create CO2, and if you hold your breath, you create CO2. So what I'm now calling breath limitation work is to make sure that you don't kick off too much carbon dioxide, and you can add in exercise at the same time. And so there's a balance. If you push too fast, too quickly, the brain's just going to go, no, I need to breathe really fast, and then you kick it off again. Whereas if you ride it to a certain level and bring in air, the hunger for air, and then be okay with it, and do that for a minute or so at a time, and then repeat once you've calmed back down again, you can actually get an access to oxygen and retrain the brain that it's okay to have that much CO2 back in the system for a longer period. It's like anything. It's training, and it takes time, and often it takes someone to help you do that process. And I just wanted to come in and say, what do you think? Do you do a relaxing breathwork process? Do you know that you can do breathwork that's not relaxing and more like a workout? I'd love to know what you get from this, and I love to help people with performance issues and or health problems, and I love to help osteopaths because they are working very hard to help people and patients, and if we can make their service better, then we help people on a greater scale in the long run. And I also love to help coaches with getting clearer as well from the self-management perspective. So there's a lot of help I can give, and I'd love to know what you get from all of this. And yeah, put general questions or general comments in, or send me a personal message for a chat, because I love to talk about what I do. And I hope that's made a lot of sense. What do you get from this? And have a good